You got me?
I got you, man. What's happening?
Just at work, just slaving away, getting shit done.
Yeah, I hear you, mate. I'm just in the home studio doing
Is that
things.
your studio?
Mhm.
Looks cool,
Yeah,
dude.
yeah, it's all right, eh? Let me just do the gallery view here so I can see it. Yeah, it's gone good, man. I'm doing all the one-on-one stuff and kind of building a bit of a vibe there, and putting all them in the background to see, just to remind myself that I can still do it. You know what I mean?
Of
What are
course you can.
what are you up to
Bigger
these
things
days?
ahead for you, motherfucker.
What's that?
There's bigger things ahead for you.
Oh yeah, big time. And look, the reason I wanted to do this with you specifically is I wanted to. I'm doing this like one-on-one super sessions with the people who've been most influential, both in the dance industry and in our success as the
Yeah.
Potbelleez. And obviously you're right up there at the top. With like I had Gabby from Global PR Pool yesterday, and she runs all the promos, so she went from vinyl to CD for a couple of years, from tape deck to vinyl, and all the way up to modern day. And she's got a company that every record that's distributed goes out through her, and if she doesn't like you or doesn't like your record, um, you know, you're fucked. Like, it's all about relationships, this thing. And I wanted to kind of go through the story with you about how you Jedi mind tricked the whole country into listening to our music. Because like it was all I hope it's recording my vocals. Let me just check. um Let me just check.
There's a little button say it's
Yeah,
recording the call. Normally it
yeah,
says
yeah,
on
yeah.
my end it's
Yeah,
recording.
no,
It doesn't say it.
it's recording. Yeah, it's recording. Sorry. So yeah, because there's so many kids out there these days, right? Like the one-on-one thing for me is I love it because it means that I can take something that I hear is quite good or quite fantastic, but it just needs to be stripped back and brought up, like taken apart and rebuilt, really, so I work with a lot of artists that I go and search for, and these like one-on-one super sessions is to give them an insight as to how hard it is to get into the industry, how hard it is to make it in the industry, and how hard it is to stay in the industry, And I'm going through my path of people like yourself who are like outside of the box, really, really helped me and Dave and then Lan and Miles to to get there, to make it, so to speak, to get these records, and how you were the catalyst of between Miles and the other one, Mrs. Brown, of how we got.
It was all Margie Brown. It wasn't anything to do with me. I just did what I was told. Margie Brown, super producer and the brains behind Big Brother Up Late. And she said, Mikey G, these guys are called the Potbelleez. They're my friends. You will play their music and you'll promote it. Otherwise, I'm not talking to you and we'll find another host. And you owe everything to Margie Brown.
All
And
right.
every single night she was in my ear. She was saying, Mikey, don't forget to say that's the Potbelleez music playing in the background. I'm like, oh yeah, hear that song? Don't Hold Back. Yep,
Yeah,
that's these
yeah,
guys called the Potbelleez. They're my
yeah.
friends. They're DJs from Kings Cross in Sydney. If you ever get to the parade club, make sure you go and say hello to them and tell them Mike
Yeah.
sent you. They might
And
they
it was
might even
even
get you a free Red Bull and vodka.
it,
And the more we did that, we literally said that for years and years on Big Brother Up Late. And they started
yeah,
using it in some of the promos for prime time.
that's right.
Next thing you know, you had a finale and we somehow snagged the Potbelleez to be
Yeah,
able to come and play at the finale because their
yeah.
song was #1 in the country. Jeep had just signed it up as their national brand
Yeah,
song.
it was
And
crazy.
they were hottest band on the planet, and we had them playing at our Big Brother finale. Then all of a sudden, when everything turned to shit on the Big Brother finale, they're like, "What are we going to do? The cameras aren't working for the housemates. Just cross to the Potbelleez." And they're like, "You guys are just doing your thing," and you had like a 10-minute set with 1.8 million people watching you on national television.
That's right.
Because all of the gear fucked up.
I know, it was crazy because, I mean, that was kind of a catalyst of how we got so much TV work and then publishing and then everything. But even like prior to Don't Hold Back, before we even wrote it, you know, all the underground, like Dirty Girl and Dirty Dreams and like Junkyard, all the earlier clubby stuff and just like random cool beats that I'd have been making or Dave had been making. You were playing all of them. Like I think we gave you like 25, 30 tracks. And then I remember you saying that people were emailing going, "Oh, who's that? Who's got the music in the background?" You know, and I'm thinking that it was basically, you know, Big Brother of late was so big that, you know, it was all like massive stoners at night, listening to the tunes, watching Big Brother play, you know, studying, doing what their arts course or whatever, you know. And you know, you got the, you know, our music through to the psyche of the whole bloody country. You know what I mean? And then
it's great, man. Yeah, all those people out there that are making songs, and I know that you have a lot of people that you work with that you help develop their talent and help write their songs and record them. And I played in bands before, and I've worked on radio for 20 years. My dad was in radio as well. I was supposed to be the lead singer of the Potbelleez, but that's another story.
I hope everybody recognizes Mike's voice, by the way.
In my mind.
He's the voice behind everything. He's the Osher Gunsberg of voiceovers.
Watch Play Origin on Channel 7 Sunday night, okay? It's going to be a massive show. No Potbelleez music on it as yet. And watch Big Brother next year when it comes back.
Yeah, but, exactly.
One thing I want to say to the people out there like you in your position, you know, upcomers especially, is you might be sick to death of playing that song that you know is your number one song that is going to be a hit, and you've probably been playing for a year and thinking, "Oh, well, I tried." Play it for 2 years, play it for 3 years. You believe in something enough. It's harder to get cut through now. It's not like there's only 3 radio stations and 3 TV stations in the country. You literally have to pump it out to as many people as you possibly can, and get those followers to play it to their friends and family and network and build that following as much as you can. And it is friendships, and like I dug these guys back then so much because they're 2 funny Irishmen, and they love to have a drink. They love to throw their fist in the air and have a party. And not so much anymore. Trying to behave ourselves. And that when I was, you know, I was 30, 31, I think it was, on Big Brother late. And I was just, I thought these guys are sick. They are so awesome. And let's promote the way we can and, you know, work with them. And so you really just got to find those people in the industry that will sing your wares or push your music, even a country music perspective. Like my dad, he had 29 stations, I think it was, around Australia playing his breakfast show.
That was like massively influential radio jock, wasn't he, for over the years?
I mean, he hosted a show called Countdown before Molly Melton.
That's right. Yeah.
And he
I'm sorry to hear of his passing, by the way. I'm sorry to hear about that.
Man. He's just had an award named in his memorial for the Tamworth Country Music Festival. And
beautiful.
But there's so many artists that owe the world to him. And I was just had Troye Sivan on my show this week, and he's an awesome Australian country music artist. He's
the nicest man in music. Troye is. There's many times we've passed or crossed paths in airports and like Virgin lounges. It's unreal. But go on, with the younger artists, I really feel that, you know, that it's all about social media, and it's, you know, social media will get you so far, but you know, to get those bigger contacts, and, you know, there's a couple of guys doing it really well. They've got their own label, and, you know, they're starting their own communities and that. So it's not like it used to be, but there's still some things that you can't, you know, that they wouldn't know about. Making a relationship with producers of shows, of you know, music and publishing is getting your music on TV, and by any means necessary, as we did. You know,
you said it's different than those guys who are building their own communities and stuff, but the whole relationship side of it's different. Like if you're someone who doesn't have one of those big communities and you want to work with that person who does, then that's only going to help you. It's collaboration and working with people. Well, what we did on Big Brother Up Late, that was a collaboration. You know, I was hosting it and you music. You know, so if you can work with people that have a big following, and then you'll build off that. So, you know, you might get 2 or 3% of their followers follow you, but if you work with, you know, 20 of those, you're going to have more followers up, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And how many parties have we played together over the years? I mean, there's
A
been
few.
there has been a few. There has, and it's just interesting because I wanted to let, you know, these kids know that it takes more than, you know, just one record. I mean, we've been playing Don't Hold Back up until last year for 16, or what was it, 2007. So, you know, 13 years, you know, and it's been on the ad for 11 years. And, you know, everybody told us that we sold out and all. I'm like, nah, fuck that. Like, we bought in, you know. But it's really important to get relationships with people, not just in the music industry, but within all industries, you know, even in marketing companies, you know, doing adverts, or, you know, publishing companies. A lot of the deals these days, they've got 360 deals where the artist is signed to their publishing, their rights to the record, their masters, and anything that they've got for the next 10 years, you know. But these days, nobody's really writing albums anymore, you know. And what we gave you was about 25 tracks of just brain splat, you know what I mean? And it was literally all night, every night for how many years was it?
Big Brother Up Late went for about 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah. And then we wrote Don't Hold Back, and then it came out, and it just went within a week. Like I think we played a Tank on or something like that on back in the day when Tank was alive, and then it literally the next week Vicious put it out, and because of Big Brother Up Late, because of you and Margie, everyone had already kind of heard it, but they didn't know. So it was very recognizable already. And it just went boom, straight to number one, you know, for 20 weeks or whatever it was, you know. And like, what would you say to the kids these days that, you know, that can't find a record label, or they, you know, say if they've got their own sound, right? And they're trying to get in with, you know, people at TV, or, you know, doing it on their own. What advice would you give to them?
Phone calls,
Event,
event, functions, meeting people,
yeah,
you know, all pushing your wares. You got to be a promotional machine, and if you don't have the money to pay someone else to do it for you,
yeah,
and it can be as basic as, you know, someone mentions a TV show that they're working on, and you just say, "Oh, can I get the number for one of the producers? I'd like to offer them my music for free," because you're offering your music for free. I mean, a lot of the time I mean, I remember we paid the Potbelleez. It wasn't the amount that you normally get, but we something which most of them will give you. But if they had to track down an artist and ask for their music, it'd cost them a hell of a lot more. And dealing with a record label, it's going to cost them a hell of a lot more. So
we were only babies back then in the industry, you know. We were only young, you know.
They don't have that budget. So you know, you bringing up and saying, "Hey, listen, I really like the show. I'd love to send you some of my music, and if we could do a deal to play it." I know you probably got some production master stuff that's generic shit that you use, that's why I was desperate to get some other music on our show.
Yeah,
all
you're just using the library.
Doing like brother theme over and over again.
Yeah,
so
right.
You know, even watch the TV shows and watch the credits, and then find the users' names and find them on Facebook and reach out to them and contact them.
Yeah, great idea. And I remember that we even came in to the studio a couple of times, because I think it was Margie or you told us that we're doing an interview on Big Brother Up Late, and that we were the guys behind the music, and then we did like a DJ set, or we got together a DJ set for a party. And I remember, I can't remember which girl it was, but there was a track called Dirty Dirty Girl, and instead of vocoder going dirty dirty girl, and Alan like just doing this stupid crazy weird rap over it, but it was a banging beat, and I think they got really 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 drunk, and she was like grabbing the speaker, humping the speaker, and with this track that I wrote in 15-20 minutes, and it's been played to the nation, and with this one back then when Big Brother was hot back then, and it was just such a crazy experience, then next minute I'm in the studio with you and Dave, and we're having a banter and answering people's questions, and we'd come from the underground clubs, from playing underground everywhere in Australia, and we'd built up a really, really big following for over a very long time, and it was because it was due to that kick that we got from you guys that we were able to kind of, I suppose, psychologically get into the heads of everybody in Australia, and thank you for that.
That's okay, buddy. Thank you. I mean, our show wouldn't have looked half as good if it wasn't for you giving us that music, and wouldn't have sounded half as good, and wouldn't have had 500,000 people watching it every night.
Yeah. And what's coming next with Big Brother? What's happening next? Can you give any little tips away?
Like, just go to bigbrothercasting.com.au, or if you think next Potbelleez and you want to get your music on the show, all you got to do is reach out to Endemol Shine, which is a production company in Sydney, and just send your music to them and follow them up and try and get one of the producers to slot it into the show.
Brilliant, fantastic, Mike. And wicked, man. Like it was really important for me to get that information out of you to these guys, because it's I think it's vital, because you can't make music these days off music, or you can't make money off music these days. Our whole industry has imploded. It's hard for everybody on this side of the scale. There's no cash cow out there anymore for, like, even say somebody like no, that's exactly that. They're the cash cows. There's no corporate events to pay 20 grand.
How's it all going? The online shows and online festivals, are they becoming a thing, or is it just a piss poor attempt at we can't do it?
I don't know, man. I mean, I saw this one. I haven't really seen anything that's great. I mean, so a couple of comedians have been doing it. Like Carl Barron, I think, did one, and I've seen it like a couple of the guys from the project, like the comedians in the project, doing it. But one thing that I've seen, which is quite amazing, was the WWE, the wrestling, right? Their whole thing is about their whole entertainment is about the people that are there, chanting on, having a fun day. It's a fun day out of theater. It's kind of like like a man's Sex in the City live. You know what I mean? And what they have done is just absolutely mind blowing. They've built a thing called the Thunderdome. They promote it as, but they've built this. They've bought a building and then turned the inside of it into a huge big dome. And they've put like about 15 to 20 rows deep and high, and just like LCD strips of plasma, like of TV, and then everyone on their computers. So it's virtual, thousands of people on their computers as the crowd. It's the most amazing thing I've ever seen. So you're talking, when the wrestlers come out, you'll see these just strips and strips and strips and strips of lines back of people like us watching the wrestling through our computer, but you're online live on the TV. So it's like virtual crowd. It's absolutely amazing. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life, and they've only just started it. I mean, it must have cost millions to do that, but hopefully we don't have to go down that road for too long.
cutouts at the NRL games.
What's that?
Be a little bit better than the cardboard cutouts at the NRL games. I saw one of the I think it was a baseball game in America, and they had cardboard cutouts of the baseball players. They had fans, and they had these massive bears. I think the team might have been the Bears. I don't know who it was. These huge, big bears sitting in the crowd, and someone had hit a home run, and it's just flown through the air and gone poof, straight in the bear's head. Fully coughed it. Bears just like. Anyway, the next shot they had that same bear with its head all bandaged up.
Oh no way! So what was there? There were no players on the ground. There were just cardboard cutouts.
And like in the commercial break, someone's ran up there and bandaged the bear's head, and then crossing back to the bear. That's pretty funny.
Man.
Dude,
go on, yeah.
I just had an idea.
Yeah.
I
like it when you come up with ideas. Every time I meet you, you have an idea.
I even had thought it out, but I mean, my favorite country music artist at the moment is Troye Sivan.
Yeah,
he's got a new album coming out with Sony, which he isn't able to work on at the moment because, like, he was supposed to record at Barnsley's studio down in Botany, and then he was using another studio in Byron. You can't get across the border and come back, and he's talking about doing some concept albums as well. One of them, he's got a show coming up under the name of Tex Dubbo,
right?
Which is and he's doing all old country classics. I'm going to suggest to him that he do a collaboration with you.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
You know, like the Billy Ray Cyrus.
Yeah.
I reckon it would be so cool to do it with,
mate, that would be great.
Haley, who's like just signed a new deal with Sony Music at 51 years of age. And he's just awesome, dude. I'll help produce.
Yeah. You can be the executive producer.
Yeah. I actually have an alter ego who's a country music singer. Yeah. Years ago got me to record a song, and he played it on the radio, and people liked it and kept requesting it. But I didn't go under the name of Mike Goldman. I was Dusty Plains.
That's brilliant.
And the song at a mate of mine's place in LA. Yeah. And I thought I reckon I could do this. And I had this cowboy shirt with Dusty written on it and a huge hat. Yeah. And I put it back together, and I went and played the Singleton Country Music Festival.
No way.
Yeah, just doing some covers and stuff. But
that's brilliant.
I always wanted to get back up on stage. There's nothing like it being on stage.
I'm going bananas without being on stage. I'm going absolutely nuts. Like, it's not just about the money, but I mean, the money's great, but it's about the connection with a crowd, because my first art was DJing, performing, was getting on the decks and mixing a collage, like painting a picture, taking people's energies, flowing it, throwing it out, moving around, almost conducting through your fingers and your mind, like there's nothing like performing to me that, like, I miss it so much. Hello. Hello. Where are you? Exactly where are you?
I'm at Australian Online News, which is a new service that I'm working with at the moment. And they've got about 20 online newspapers and a couple on the ground as well that they're starting up, and a video streaming service. And
do they need any music?
Yeah. Matter of fact, we will. See that, kids? That's what you need to do. Do you need any music?
Right.
I got us. Yep.
Let me know how many tracks you need.
A fair few, actually.
Yeah, really.
I have already mentioned that here, and everyone's excited about potentially using your stuff. But do you find, obviously, the production master stuff, and there's all these websites where people can buy songs that sound like copies of songs, and there's something else that I reckon would be taking a bite out of your cash in your industry, which I'd be pissed off with if I were you. There's all these people recording covers of your songs. Yeah. So they'd record "Don't Hold Back" by Jimmy and the Nose Pickers.
Yeah.
But the average punter that probably can't remember the name, the Potbelleez, but they remember the name Don't Hold Back.
Yeah.
They get played. Maybe their ear can't pick up, and it's 100% your song. If they listen to them both, they know the difference. But when they're half pissed, they're listening to this other person who just recorded it, and the other person's making the money and you're not. Like, how do you put a stop?
Well, you can't. If they release it without our consent, they can't release it. You know, it's or they can call it a cover, but we still get the money for that. But you know, nobody's come to us. Yeah, nobody's exactly come to us and saying, because of the Jeep ad that's been going for so many years. It's like 11 years now it's been going, you know. So
I go, hey Siri, play this song, or hey Alexa, play this song, and I go, yeah, there it is, and I go, wait a minute, that's. And I got to Google who actually sang it, and then you got to say who sang it, so it plays that song.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah. What's that?
But at least you still get some cash out of it. You know, I won't mention his name, but I know a guy who does that in LA, and he'll get a theme song from a movie or a TV show and just, you know, copy it and write his own version of it. Yeah. Put it out and makes a killing.
Yeah, really.
He bought a house in LA just from doing that stuff.
Wow. And what's he doing now with the whole lockdown? I mean, you know,
he's just doing it from his garage, from his little recording studio in Pasadena.
Yeah, wow. That's incredible. That's it.
But he gets orchestral stuff. Like, he can study the notes, he plays it, puts them in place, and does his own version. He pays singers to come in and sing the song. Yeah, so it's really, really close. Not actually it. Yeah, and especially songs that all the kids know. If you can get the rights to be able to do your own version, it's like the kids don't care.
Yeah, they don't give a shit. Yeah,
and you make money.
That's another thing, is that, like, doing covers. Especially in the dance industry, the dance music industry, it's like it's done to death, but everyone still plays them because they know it will get played. And you know, some other kids might be sending shit hot records into a label, but they're like, oh no, we're looking for commercial stuff now because of COVID, and they're not getting a break at all, you know. So it's very disheartening for them, and that's why I'm trying to open in like other channels for them by, like, talking to you, and I've got Johnny Gleason later on.
They doing some songs and uploading them into Spotify that, you know, is like a kid's hit or a top 10 hit from a few years ago that you could get the rights to. You do have to ask for the rights to do it.
Of course.
I forgot that, but and you know, they do hand out the rights to go and record songs.
Especially at the moment, you know. So what's next for you?
I recorded the voice for Plate of Origin, which starts on Sunday.
That's That's brilliant.
Out in the next month. It's called Monsters of Man. It was shot in New York. It's about these robots that dropped in the jungle to kill off all the drug lords in the Cambodian jungle. And I'm in New York, doing shit there.
I saw you acting. What did I see you acting on the other day?
Wentworth.
That was it. Yeah. So you're getting into the acting as well now?
Yeah, and I did a series with Rachel Griffiths in New Zealand for Amazon Prime, and I've got a contract with Netflix to be in Clickbait, which is with Adrian Grenier from Entourage, which is supposed to be shot in Melbourne now, but back in Melbourne shooting in October.
He was the main guy with the fuzzy hair, wasn't he?
Yeah, and lots of other random stuff. I'm doing a documentary on guns for National Geographic this Friday, and helping start this new online news network and TV network, which is a company out of Delaware who decided to throw some money at the Australian market, and because it's limited to close down all their newspapers in the regional areas, and all the radio stations close down their regional stuff, and there's a lot of people out there that want to be looked after. They want the local stories and the local news, so we're working on building that up and putting that back there, and shooting my On the Mic podcast show. I've got to get you to do an episode.
Yeah, 100%. 100% now that you've done a mine. I'd love to
Yeah.
do that, man. I'd love to do it. And this just kind of goes to show how what exactly why I'm talking to you, that the way that you're such a chameleon that you can do so many different things, and still just kind of, you know, chill out, have a little conversation with me, but you've got 10 different things on the go, you know, and people know you for your voice and from Big Brother and from what's the other ads, the one that you all the ads you do, all the ads in Australia, you know, but
All of them, they're all mine.
yeah, yeah, you
Yeah.
do. And it just shows that, you know, if one door closes, you can open many more, you know, and that's what I'm searching for as well. You know, what's the next thing for this old veteran, you know, and it's
You
giving
should
back.
know. How many episodes have you done now?
This is only my second, so I've just started it. So I had Gabby from Global PR, which is she's the last line and the first line of defense of getting promos to DJs. So she works with all the record labels, and if your track is going to be handed to 800 DJs rather than 100 DJs or 1,000 DJs in the country and gets them over to the UK, it goes through Gabby from Global PR. And she was one of the first ones to pick up our, you know, from Vicious. Then she put a massive campaign behind it, you know, and it just kind of the record just sold itself, as did, you know, 7 or 8 of the other ones off the back of that, you know. But you know, I've got like Johnny Gleason after this, and he was very influential in Dave's movement as an underground DJ, and he's kind of a bit of a godfather of the Sydney and, you know, Australian dance music scene, you know, and he has an amazing comeback story, you know, and that's what I'm doing next with him. So I just I'm trying to think outside the box
No.
of how these you know, these mentorees, or you know, these new kids, you know, from 18 to 28, you know, just different, a different perspective on music.
I'm doing a show with Johnny from the Potbelleez.
Hello.
Remember the #1 hit, Don't Back? It's huge.
It's that one there. It's double platinum.
Yeah, he's got records, albums there. It's awesome. Hey, so good talking to you, man. I really appreciate it.
Thanks,
And,
Mike.
you have to come on my show soon.
Definitely. Let me know when.
Love you, buddy.
All right, you too, brother. Love you. Talk to you soon.
See you.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Well,
Back with you. Happy with
my mic isn't going off. All right, see ya.
All right, man. I got to fly. I'll chat to you later.